you can design a city in days. The technology of map creation is limited to 5 or 6 companies around the world. If the CCTV is looking at a street, right, and there is a building on fire, our technology picks that data and informs the control room saying, I can see a fire in building X on floor 5.
Welcome to Masters of Change. Today, we sit down with Mohammed Al Beloushi, who is the driving force behind the changes in the geotech space in the region. In this episode, we are going to discuss how companies can utilize technology to drive innovation in their businesses. Hello, Mohammed. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Well, I'm very looking forward to today's episode. So let's dive straight into the conversation.
Sure.
So you are the Deputy CEO of URBI. Tell me, what was the founding story of the company? How have you set out to set this innovative tech company?
Map creation technology is limited to few companies around the world. And one of them was a company which was founded in 1989 in Siberia. And it's called QGIS. And it was very much focused on a B2C as a business, like many other mapping companies. A few years ago, myself and one of the main founders, we discussed of changing the core business that enables the government, the business, more scaling it up to provide something unique that will connect people, places, policies, and allows people to make a better decision at any time in the decision-making process.
So what are the insights that people can expect if then they use URBI, especially the business and the government clients?
I wish I had access to such technology in 2005 when I was the general manager of engineering and development of Palmdera, then, which is the biggest man-made island, 48 million square meter of a land. Then we had tens of consultants, road consultants, master planning consultants, marine consultants. And we took over a year to understand what kind of a mix we should create on Palmdera compared to what was there already on Palm Jumeirah and what was announced then on Palm Jabal Ali. If we had the technology that's available for geo-spacial today, that job would have been done in a month time. Why? Because through URBI Pro, you can design the smartest cities by using the most accurate data. And that eliminates, I mean, my fellow consultants may not like this, but it eliminates the need for consultancies. It eliminates the need for data scientists because through URBI Pro platforms, you can design a city in days.
Could you talk a little bit more about the full scope of solutions that you provide in the GIS space?
Sure. The biggest challenge today that the countries trying to achieve is to create a digital twin of countries. And that's an extremely expensive project to conduct. And there are countries that have, they did a digital twin, but unfortunately, the challenge in that was how to update it. And the main idea behind creating a digital twin of countries or cities is to enable the governments easy decisions when they come to create smarter cities. Why do we need smarter cities? Because we need safer cities, right? So it's like kind of like having a snapshot. But countries like, for example, like Saudi Arabia or Egypt, which are millions of square meters of land, it's very complex to create a digital twin. URBI, from the very beginning, start or creating the maps in a digital twin forms. That basically makes the longest story short by 80% by providing the atomic level of details. And if you compare our maps, and as I mentioned earlier, that the technology of map creation is limited to 5 or 6 companies around the world. URBI is one of them. Uh, the challenge is maintaining the updates of a map. Hence, we decided that we don't have an intention to go on a global scale, but we take a country border to border and we detail the map to an atomic level. So for example, today, if you go to JBR, you can't even find the location of shower rooms, benches, like, yeah, literally, like you could, is a point of interest. And the complexity of creating that detailed map comes from a process called spatial joint, because the amount of the data connecting a street to a point of interest, to a building, to a parking, to a road, to an entrance, if you do not have those elements connected in a spatial joint, you will always end up in the wrong place.
Can you remind me again how many cities and countries you are currently operating in?
We are operating currently in 26 countries and over 1,500 cities around the world.
Wow.
And we're expanding soon into another 8 countries.
So you already touched on that such services is a great solution for governments.
Yeah.
Can you share a few examples of what use cases you have provided solutions to various government clients?
In every municipality, there is a department called GIS. And the role of that department is to create base map and share it with different governments. However, the challenge is always how would you maintain all those data? And over here, I'll give you a good example. For example, NEOM in Saudi Arabia, which is one of the most visionary development, uses our application as a platform for many users, whether it's from planning to facility management to public safety to navigation. So it's a one application that serves all the way from national securities to someone who is looking to open a coffee shop or to find a place.
Can I push you here a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Could you give me 2, maybe 3 if you're generous, precise examples of what is the business use case for both a government client and later on a business?
Okay, so something that we are so proud that we've created recently, and it's called URBI Pro Safe City. So every city has thousands of CCTVs, right? And if there is an incident or an accident somewhere, it's pretty challenging to go to your command and control room and say which camera, which CCTV was looking at that specific X and Y coordinate, right? And most probably you will try to use the experience of X or Y. In URBI Pro Safe Cities, you basically, all of what you have to do is to put the cursor on the map, and it pulls those specific CCTVs which were looking at that specific coordinates or X and Y or area, and tells you what they saw, because it's not the geo-referencing of the CCTVs on a map, that's easy to do, but to train the CCTVs to act like as a human eye and tell you as an incident is happening. For example, if the CCTV is looking at a street, right, and there is a building on fire, our technology picks that data and informs the control room saying, I can see a fire in building X on floor 5.
Just to be Sure, and just to double confirm, this is being made possible due to very close partnership with government entities.
Absolutely.
Because obviously not everyone can have access to CCTV
Absolutely.
data, I assume.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good,
This
good.
is only for governments, and we work very closely with governments as well, because the ecosystem of technologies is all about the relations between technology vendors and the clients.
Of course.
And as long as all what you need to know is what is your challenge. And as a technology vendor, our responsibility is to come with the most innovative, scalable technology.
How you're supporting health and safety providers to make sure that if either medical or fire help is needed, they are there on the spot.
We provide a full mobility, micro-mobility, and mobility solutions to our clients. And on a health and safety, 2 years ago, we had a request from a health minister, and there was a huge budget allocated to expand the health services, like in terms of building more hospital, clinics, and areas. And my question to him was, what are your KPIs? And the answer was like, I want every citizens to reach the hospital walking in 10 minutes in 30 minutes, and by car in 5 to 10 minutes. And he said, what information can I provide you for your analytics? I said, we do not require any information from you. So there was zero involvement from client providing us the data through that process and analytics of, because in URBI Pro, you do not only see the building and street informations and the entrances, but also a pretty accurate estimations of living and working population every building and area and street. So it goes to that level of giving you a 360 view, and through that process, we managed to save almost 70% of the budget by recommending certain U-turns or an U-turn. All what you needed was a U-turn instead of building another hospital at the end of the road.
Absolutely fabulous. So we've discussed in relatively high detail how governments can benefit from the solution.
Yes.
Let's switch the gears and talk about the businesses.
Okay.
Because by the sound of it, you make it sound that a lot of consultants are likely to lose their jobs because of the data you're able to provide. So let's hope that to the businesses, you'll be enabling them to grow a lot faster.
Okay. Let's take an example of IKEA. Dubai is relatively a small city, and the first branch of IKEA is in Festival City, right? And if I was in IKEA, like, why would I even need a second branch of IKEA? But it was a strategic move, and they had three options, three parcels which were like given as an option, and this is where, through URBI platform and data, accurate data, we managed to give them a clear picture of the highlights and the lowlights of every area by identifying what is the living population, what is the working population, what is the infrastructure, what are the future projects or expansion in the area. And that made it much easier for them to make a decision of going to the new location in Jebel Ali. And I think they're doing very well.
So they have a question that I wanted to ask with regards to retail businesses as well. From the conversation we had earlier, you mentioned that that retail businesses who prioritize their logistics suppliers who use the platform are likely to have long-term benefits on the business.
Yes. During the mobility show in Abu Dhabi last May, a client came to us and we showed him everything, and he was not impressed. And he said, if you want to impress me, show me the locations of helipads in UAE. I was like, sure. And in one click, literally in one click, We show them all the helipad locations because he is in the business of helicopter rent and tourism. And to him, that was like, wow, can I now know what is the gap? Where are the gaps of the helipads? And again, through a quick search on the Orbi Pro, it identifies not only the gaps of the specific market, whether it's a coffee shop or helipad business, but it also tells you who are your direct and indirect competitors, and what is the market share of a specific industry in that region. Yeah. So, for example, if we take the examples of you want to open a coffee shop in JBR, and there are big sharks like Starbucks, like Tim Hortons, right? But you love coffee and you want to start a business. Where in JBR will be the right place? You cannot find this answer anywhere else but on Orbi Pro, because with a detailed analysis that's available, providing you access to understanding your direct competitors, your indirect competitors, and how many clients each coffee shop serves.
It's absolutely fascinating how much data you have, and really impressive that through different partnerships you are able to source these data points, because that's the content within the platform merged with the analytic solutions. That's where the real magic is. So we talked about a lot of innovations that are available and the solutions that URBI provides. What technologies or innovations that are currently already available do you think are underutilized?
Every technology is underutilized if it is not part of an ecosystem. Like literally, governments allocate billions of dollars, right? And the biggest challenge when departments or different entities in any government work in silo, and that is one issue, because you're gonna be re-budgeting the same thing over and over again and again, and you still have the technology, but is not in an ecosystem. It doesn't solve the problem, right? And the other part of underutilization is that ecosystem of enabling the new generation to benefit, or the public to benefit from the technology. There is an Arabic say that giving is the best way of receiving, right? And when government shares the output of the technology and enables that to the youth, to the new generation, and enable them, I think it does not only solve that, or by reducing the gap between the two parties, but it also solves one of the major problems that governments always are concerned about: the unemployment rate, controlling of unemployment rate. So having technology available through an ecosystem does not only allow governments to build the smarter cities, but also that people are moving along with the government to a better place.
So, as you know, the series is called Masters of Change.
Yes.
What innovation waves do you see coming, and how would you recommend, and what are your thoughts how the listeners could ride it?
The biggest change that has happened and is ongoing as of today, as you mentioned earlier, is the moving from the globalization to localization. But that doesn't mean that the countries will create more strict borders, you know what I mean, between them. The technology is still open between countries, between scientists, but I think what the focus is today is to further develop AI technologies and the next version of AI technologies. I cannot say today what will be the next version of AI technology, but I can tell you one thing, and that's part of my daily life, that it is unlimited, that you can literally do anything with AI, like literally build any solution, any challenge, solve any problems. The other part of the future that I believe that yes, AI will take a huge part of and a huge part in our lives, but AI will never replace human. AI is there to create actually more jobs. And I have seen this. We have expanded with AI technology. Yes, we have eliminated certain jobs, but we have expanded in so many other areas using AI technology, because AI, even with machine learning or deep learning, AI cannot develop itself on that scale, maybe in 30 or 50 years. But as of today, AI is a main part of our life, and I think the new generation will make significant use of AI for a better future of the countries and global benefit.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. It was absolutely
Same here.
wonderful to have you on the show. To everyone watching, hope this episode provides you valuable insights that will empower you to master the growth of your business. Visit entrepreneur.com for your daily dose of business news and expert advice. You will find this and all future episodes on Entrepreneur TV.